Hello, what's up guys? Your boy DTRU is here and welcome to another Lord of Nazarick video. And today video guys, we finally got what I've been playing maybe the whole game for, which is ZESSHI, the most hyped and the best unit in the game, one of the best DPSers in the game. She's gonna come tomorrow in the global version, like they said in the announcement today, that she's gonna be dropping in 16 May, and 16 May, which is tomorrow, 3 days after dropping Solution. That is a big bummer, because a lot of people wasted a lot of gems, but I can't lie, we've been waiting for this day for a long time, and she's just supposed to come much more earlier. So she finally is here, and we're gonna give you all about her, the breakdown, what Relics she needs. We are gonna cover all we can about ZESSHI. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and let's begin. So as you can see, even in China server, ZESSHI is here right now as a rerun, and this is how the banner is gonna be. That is how you're gonna be summoning for her as usual for all the event limited banners. And I logged in the Chinese server because I wanted to show you how she looks like. You already know, but just for the video. So basically this is how ZESSHI looks like in the game. She have no voice lines because the game were too lazy to make one. And as you can see, she's one of the best DPSers in the game, and I wanted to show how she looks like in the game before we go to the breakdown. So we are gonna go to the breakdown on the website, so let's get you to it and let's start the breakdown. Alright, so basically here is where we are going to be talking about, because in China it's all Chinese and we need an English translator. So basically her game is gonna be no death and no life. Yes, she's not gonna be named ZESSHI. I don't know why, but whatever. And she's gonna be an Emerald, a Ranger. She's gonna be a single in a control and cooperation. Cooperation means an assist. That means she's going to be similar to Maida Libido, which is an assist character and also a Ranger. She's gonna be having a B on her HP, B on her defense, S on her speed, A on her attack, and C on the magical defense. So as you can see, she have an S on her speed because all her kit is from the speed, and we're gonna come and explain all about it. So we are gonna start with the passive as the usual. So her passive is called Heresy Verdict, which is a buff and which is a passive. So ZESSHI holds the power to pass judgment on heretics. So when ZESSHI's speed is higher than the target's, so when ZESSHI has higher speed than the enemy target, the player will inflict additional physical damage to the target with the speed difference x 100, ignoring defense. So here where is actually the stuff begins. In China it's x100, but in Taiwan it was nerfed to x20. So x20, x20. So it was 80 less nerfed on Taiwan. We have no idea if global is gonna follow Taiwan or China, but it was mostly following Taiwan, so we have to assume it's gonna be the 20, not the 100. But who knows, maybe they're like, fuck it, let's make it like China, I don't know. But basically, she will deal additional physical damage to that target from the difference of x20 if it's like Taiwan, or x100, and it will be ignoring the defense. So it's by 100 points, which would mean 100 speed. So if she outspeed with a 100, she's gonna deal more physical damage from this 100 speed. But now it's 20, so it's gonna be up to x20 from how much she outspeed the enemies, and it's gonna be ignoring the defense. So it doesn't matter how much defense they have or whatever, it's ignoring the defense. That's why there's hardly no tank that can actually stand in front of ZESSHI. And she will also steal 2 speed from the target after each hit until the end of the battle or death. So she will keep stealing 2 speed each time you target this character. She will take 2 speed from him, adding her to herself, and it's gonna be up to 20% of the caster speed of when you enter the battle. So it can be up to 20% of stealing speed that you can get on the caster, which means from ZESSHI, upon when she enters the battle. And here, after a teammate attacks an enemy, if the main target is in the immobile state, which is the immobile state, which is like the stun, CC'd or whatever, ZESSHI will launch execution on the target. And what execution is written here. Deal physical damage equal to 75% of the target's attack. And for every 10% decreases in HP, it will increase his damage by 5%. And as you can see, he already translated in here, immobile, which means unable to act, stuns, which means anything that is CC'd, stunned, frozen, anything that makes them unable to act. And also increases all damage by 1% for every 25 speeds, and reduces the cooldown of all your skills by 1 turn if execution deals a kill. Which means if you kill with the execution, because the execution is gonna give you, you're gonna put the execution here as we saw, you're gonna put it at if the teammate attacks an enemy and the main target is in a mobile state. Now this is how you get the execution. If you're wondering how to get it, you need to attack someone who is stunned, and this is how you get it. And it will increase all damage by 1% for every 25 speeds. So every 25 speeds difference between you and the enemy, and reduces the cooldown of all your skills by 1 turn if execution deals a kill. It will reduce every skill, not only the ultimate, or every skill, the ultimate and the second skill. And now if you have her 4-star, only by having her 4-star, it will increases her own speed by 20 when you enter the battle. So, sorry. So basically, you have 20 speed without Relics, without Enchants, only by having her 4-star and entering the battle. You will have 20 more speed on your ZESSHI. So for example, you have her at 250, she's going to be 270 when she enters the battle, not 250. And now when the player's speed is higher than the target's, which means the player, which means ZESSHI, the target is considered immobile and ignores 25% of the target defense. So when the player's speed is higher than the target's, when we have higher speed than the target is considered immobile. So imagine, they will be considered immobile, so she will get execution, and she will also ignore 25% of their goddamn defense. That is more defense ignoring. That means that no one, no tank, nothing just can stand in her fucking way. She have a lot of ignores defenses, so no defenses. Of course, reduction damage taken and all that can be a little bit helpful, but she's still ignoring a lot of their defense, so this is a lot for the tanks to actually withstood ZESSHI's wrath, as I can explain it. So that was only the passive. We haven't spoke about her other skills yet. This is her passive. Now for skill 1. Skill 1 is called Strong Wrist Strike, and it's a single and it's a debuff. A flick of the wrist launches a powerful blow at a single enemy target. It will deal physical damage equal to 120% of attack, and upon hit, 100% base chance to inflict speed down on the target for 2 turns, and it's gonna be minus 20% of speed. So imagine with only a basic, you can basically go and lower 20% of the enemy speed from the targets. Now for the skill 2, and which is the best skill after the ultimate, but it's, for me, it's the best skill because you can literally target 3 targets and poof them from the map. Basically, it's called Double Air Slash, and ZESSHI slashes 2 deadly blades that tears through space, attacking the target and its left and right targets, which means that it's going to attack 2 targets from the left to the right. And like I explained it before, if you attack the target in the middle, it will attack 3 targets, not 2. But if you attack from the left or from the right, it will only attack 2 targets, but it will deal more damage than it will do with 3 slashes, and they will explain it in here. So deal 2 rounds of physical damage equal to 70% of attack, and increases crit by 30%, and crit damage against immobile targets by 50%. So anything that is immobile, so anything that's stunned or whatever, like we explained, makes her so much stronger, and her outspeeding the enemies makes her so much strong. That's why speed is the most important thing, because you get crit damage, you get defense down, you get everything just by outspeeding your enemies. So that's why speed is the top priority that you should focus on, because you need to outspeed the enemy. You definitely need. And it will increase the crit by 30% as we said, and the crit damage against immobile targets by 50%. So this is 50% crit damage and 30% crit rate only by hitting immobile targets. And for every one less target hit, the damage of this skill is increased by 25%. That's why I said when you hit only 2, it will be 25% more damage. When you hit 3, it will be the normal damage that she does. But even with the normal damage, she still deals a lot of freaking damage with it. And you will see when you get the character. And now, for her ultimate, which is the Soul Eater Broken Sin. It's a single control and a buff. ZESSHI lances a ruthless judgment on the guilty, attacking a single enemy target. It's a single target ultimate. It will deal 2 physical damage attacks equal to 134 of attack, and before the skill is released, it will add advanced speed boost for self for 2 turns. That means, yes, plus 30% of speed just by ulting. So imagine all the freaking speed you have on her, the 20 speed that you're getting from her passive, and when you ult, extra 30% speed. So you're getting a lot of goddamn speeds, and you already have a lot of speed on her enchants, on her gears. So she's gonna be attacking a lot, and that's why speed is everything for her. And after the skill is cast, 100% base chance to inflict stun on the target for 1 turn. So you can also stun a target for 1 turn, and he can count as an immobile, and it can add execution as well from ulting. After each attack hits, 100% base chance to dispel 2 buffs as well. So she will dispel 2 buffs from that target when she uses her ultimate, and that is a 100% base chance, which means it has effect with EP and ER. So if the enemy has a lot of ER, it can be counted as maybe you cannot do it, but still it's a 100% base chance, so you still have a lot of chance. And when the caster speed is higher than the target, ignore the target's shield wall, assistant, and sharing, and ignore their ER when stun is applied. So basically, there is some like Shalatir, a tank Shalatir. She applies damage sharing and assistance and shield walls. She doesn't care. Her ultimate will bypass those. So there's no caring about how the fuck damage share or assistance that she does. She can still one-shot them, and it will ignore them. And it will also ignore their ER when stun is applied. So when you stun them with your ultimate, you will ignore their ER. So it doesn't matter anything about their ER, you're inflicting all of these. And now if you have her 5 stars, after the skill is cast, absorb 30% of the target's turn meter. If the target turns meter is 0 after absorbing, extend stun for 1 turn. So you can even freaking absorb 30% of the target's turn meter for yourself. And if they don't have turn meter, like if the turn meter is 0, which means they don't have turn meter at all, you can extend the stun on them for 1 turn. So they're going to be stunned for 2 turns, which is so fucking cool. And this is her ultimate. As you can see, so freaking strong character. She does a lot of stuff from her passive to her ultimates. Like, there's nothing that she cannot do. Like, just a goddamn monster, I'm not gonna lie. And now for her Arclight. Her Arclight is going to have a stat which is a crit damage. As you know, it always have attack HP and something, the third stat. And it's going to be a crit damage. When it's 6/6, it's going to be 18% more crit damage for you. When it's 1 star, it's going to be, I think, 8 or 9 or 10, something like that. And now, what it does, its crit damage is gonna be increased by 10% if it's 1 star, and by 20% if it was 6 star, for every 10 points higher speed than the target. So for every 10 speed higher than you have from the targets, is going to be, your crit damage is going to be 10% added, or 20 if it's 6 stars. And crit damage increased by an additional 5% if it's 1 star, and 10% if it's 6 stars, up to 50% if it's 1 star, and up to 100 if it's 6 stars. And invincibility will be obtained after the first action. Invincibility right here, which is called this, the stealth mode that you get, that they cannot attack you. This is what it is. This is what you get from her Arclight. So basically, the Arclight is so important and so good because it gives you a lot of crit damage. So imagine all the crit damage that you're getting, and all the crit rate that you're getting, and also you're going to be getting a crit rate from your gears and enchants, because that is the most important after the speed and crit is the most important two stats to add. You're going to be hitting like a truck, and all this 100 freaking crit damage only from the Arclight. And not only that, she also get from right here, from this tree, she get 10% crit rate, 10% attack, and 15% crit damage as well. So she's going to be having 15 crit damage, 10 crit rate, and 10 attack just by accessories right here. And let's not forget how much you can add on the awakening, from attack to crit rate to crit damage. So I let it for your imagination how freaking strong she's going to be. And that is basically all about her breakdown. Now let's show the game. Now basically, as we said, her accessory is gonna help her do a lot of stuff. She's going to be using, let's go and say about the relics. She's going to be using termination, that's for sure. You need termination, nothing else. Termination is going to be her secret weapon. It's going to be the best thing for her because it also freaking nullified the enemy defense above all the nullify that she does, and it does stack. This doesn't have anything to do with her passes and whatever. The relic nullified defense is going to exist above them as well, so they will stack together. That is one thing. The other thing is going to give you 20% of crit rate for her, and you need the crit rate, so it's going to be so freaking amazing for her. So this is the best relic. Don't ever think about getting her anything else unless you don't want her to be hitting like truck. You can use something else only if you like the word is closed up to you, you don't have a single termination set, and you are really want to play her and you want to do something else. Try to use maybe anything that has crit rate, like for example Vert Mari to reset her cooldown and wherever. It can be a good other stuff, but you need a crit rate, so it's gonna be Vert Mari for sure for you to use. And now for the enchants and for the stats, you basically need speed. So EP, you need as much EP as you can get, so you can get speed and you can get also crit rate. So you need speed right here from enchants, crit rate, and if you got the chase and assist, it can be a good bonus, or surrendered as well, because it gives more damage over controlled character, and she can stun the characters, and she does have control on them and immobilize, as you can see in her execution. So stranded can be really good, and also assist or chase damage can be good because she's an assist character, and when she there have execution, she go and assist, so can also be a good bonus. These are bonuses, guys, not focused stuff. So if you get them as a bonus, congratulations. If you don't, crit and speed and stranded come after them, but especially you need speed, crit, and attack mostly, and stranded and chase can be a bonuses, a very good bonuses, but you can also go for stranded instead of attack because it can be really good as well. For whales, they can go for stranded immediately, speed, crit, stranded. You can like I think you can probably max them all out, so you can do that, but for FTP you cannot unless you are the most lucky person in the world. So don't go for speed and crit the most, and then try to get some stranded if you can, and some chase as a bonus if you were lucky. So this is basically all for her kits and for her relics as well, and for everything that we can cover about her. So basically that is going to be the end of the video. We're not going to be showcasing, she's gonna come tomorrow and we're going to be doing a big showcase about her. You already all know how she plays anyway. So basically Wait for tomorrow's stream. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, by the way, a big stream. We're going to be getting ZESSHI 6 for mostly a lot of people, hopefully. So you are more than welcome to join us, 4 p.m. GMT +2. Be there, be a lot. I love you all, guys. Thank you so much for your support. And I will be seeing you in another one. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Your body to you as with you guys. Peace.